Hello again. Even for such a dreadfully corrupt and dishonest government skilled at such things, the latest move by Boris Johnson and his cronies is a masterpiece of misdirection and deception. They really have played a blinder, and the best part about it is that hardly anybody has even noticed what they've been up to. It's just like the three-card trick. Let me explain step by step what has happened, just in case viewers have been taken in. Two laws have been introduced or altered this year. Well, a lot more than that, but two that are relevant to this particular situation. The first was the one which made it a legal requirement for those working in care homes to be vaccinated against the COVID-19 virus. There was already a shortage of care workers, and this legislation has had the effect of making another 60,000 or so quit their jobs, thus creating an easily predictable crisis in the field. There are now over 100,000 fewer care workers than there were 2 years ago. Similar legislation has been passed, making it a requirement that frontline workers for the National Health Service will also need to be vaccinated by April. There are currently 90,000 job vacancies in the NHS, and this new law will mean that something like 60 or 70,000 workers will now resign, rather than have the vaccine. This is the first part of the trick, which is a manufactured crisis. We need at least 100,000 care workers, and in April perhaps another 150,000 workers for the NHS. That is 250,000 people needed to keep the care homes and NHS running to top efficiency. Now comes the second part of the trick. 48 hours ago, on Christmas Eve, when everybody is too busy to pay much attention to announcement about trifling matters like changes in visa requirements, it was announced that the rules are to be relaxed for those foreigners who want to come to Britain and get jobs as care workers. In the description of this video, I give a link to the BBC report on this change, just in case viewers were too busy to spot it at the time. Have we all followed this? The government passes a law which creates a shortage of care workers and then tinkers with another law to make sure that those jobs are taken by immigrants. By announcing this on Christmas Eve, they made sure that it wouldn't end up being reported the next day in the newspapers, because of course there are no newspapers on Christmas Day. A masterful piece of work. Slipping this through on Christmas Eve in this way was so brazen that I feel a reluctant admiration for the two slippery customers responsible for the whole scheme. Who are these rogues? Step forward and take a bow. Home Secretary Priti Patel and Health Secretary Sajid Javid. Neat bit of footwork there, guys. Those granted visas, what has now been added to the list of skilled jobs for which there is a shortage, will be able to live in Britain for 5 years initially. But realistically, we know that they will never return to their country of origin. Why would they? The same stunt will be pulled in April, when it is announced that tens of thousands more people have left the NHS because of the mandatory vaccines. So that's more than 100,000 vacancies in care work, and another 90,000 jobs in the NHS that are currently vacant, plus however many NHS workers quit rather than be vaccinated, which is probably upward of 50 or 60,000. Sounds a lot, doesn't it? Now, hands up all those who think that none of those coming here in this way will want to bring families over once they are safely settled here and have their feet under the table. What's that? You think most of them will be trying to get their husbands, wives and children to come and join them? Yeah. You think they'll never go home? Well, perhaps you're right. Of course, there is a desperate housing shortage at the moment, So there is also the slight problem of where that 250,000 or so people are going to live. I suppose that we'll have to build hundreds of thousands of new homes for them. Let's just remind ourselves who is responsible for this enormous wave of immigrants. I quote from the BBC website, to which I give a link. Home Secretary Priti Patel said the care sector was experiencing unprecedented challenges, adding that the change to the health and care visa would alleviate some of the pressures currently being experienced. And remember, Health Secretary Sajid Javid says, these measures, together with the series of support packages announced since September, will help us ensure short-term sustainability and success for our long-term vision to build social care back better. Those are the two people in government behind this interesting new development. They are both modest and unassuming people, but I don't think that they should be allowed to hide their light under a bushel on this occasion, and they deserve full credit for this far-sighted and visionary scheme.